the second time in just 9 days in the world of Trip 6 Motorsport, we're at Donington Park. This week we're on rFactor 2 and for the T6TC Championship. It's a young championship with many rounds still to go and lots of drivers who are in the hunt for some big points still in the early stages of this season. Welcome along to everybody watching on the T6 YouTube channel. My name is Darragh Thacker. I'll be taking you through all of the action here this evening, and we will have a lot to get through. Donington National Circuit, one of the more classic circuits that we have in the UK for touring car racing, which will be an interesting one, but two 25-minute races, we'll see who will be where. In the championship, we are going to be having an interesting battle as at the front of the field, Gasper Marak took a lead. Not by a great deal, though. Tom Hackett kept right up close with a couple of drivers in the form of Ollie Kayan-Lati and Luke Mitchell on 26 points and only 6 points back. Anton Temenga and Alan Axon are 5th and 6th as they crossed the 20-point threshold last week, with Bobby Bakinov, Stu Neal and Antonis Papranopoulos inside the top 9. Hero Calleja is 10th with 10 points, with Rob Shorey, Callum Cripps and Jamie Potts on positive figures inside the top 13. We'll roll on to see some of the rest of the drivers. We've got Sam Butters, George Prieto, Callum Wilson and John Pound, who are all positive after the opening week. Willem Westerhoff, Jaroslav Fides, Paul Amos and Raider Uhilal, along with David Zoes. No points on the board for them. A couple of them getting a couple of points deduction, some of them not turning up last week. Sadly though for Jordan Osborne, Emmanuel Lopez, Simon Trebek and Jason Taylor, a couple of penalties have set them back to the point that they have to try and cross the 0-point threshold once again this evening. Going to be an interesting one to see if they can do that, but they are going to have their work cut out, no doubt. Into qualifying, we are then here in Donington Park, and you can see we've only got a few minutes left of the session. Callum Wilson going very well indeed at the moment. He of course was doing a very good job at the start of his season, as he is up in P. I say he was doing a very good job. I've got confused. Callum Wilson P15. He didn't have the best of starts, so this would be a big improvement for him. It's Kayan-Lati who of course had a good start. One race 2 last week that was right up near the front, but you could just see as the timing tower changed. Gasper Marak has now set the fastest time. He was the pole sitter last week. He took the additional point for pole in doing so. Can he take yet another one here at Donington Park? He's got 81 thousandths between himself and Luke Mitchell. Callum Wilson still on his outlap. He will see what he can do in a little bit. John Pound trying to hang on to the car, not looking too comfortable in his Hyundai for the Across the Old Races team, but he will come through this backside of the circuit, just hanging onto the car in any which way that he can. Final few corners of the lap for him. Of course, with this being the national circuit, it means that we take that final far chicane. It won't the big long or the couple of hairpins that you would get at the end of the lap if we were doing the Grand Prix layout, just the national circuit for us this evening. And it means it is quite a flick through the final couple of corners, particularly in these machines where downforce is of the essence. In towards this large chicane comes John Pound, flicking it through the right, into the left, run it up to the line for the number 65 car. He's in P16. Can he improve on that position as he runs himself up to the line? The time is a 10.5, and John Pound will stay down in P16. That big moment likely not helping him out. David Zoes, well, I don't know where he's going, but at least he's here this evening. Wasn't able to join us 7 days ago at Imola, and we'll see what he can do in his number 12. Callum Wilson is going very quickly indeed in his number 16 Honda. Where can he go as he's about to hit the timing beam? 107.8 is the target, 108.3 is all he can muster, and it is slower than his previous lap time. He'll stay down in P4, and that is not exactly what he would have wanted with such a promising lap looking like it was in the offing. We'll carry on though as we work our way through this session. Couple of little bits of admin to let you all know about before we really get going into this race. Bobby Bakinov, he was here last week. He can't make it this evening. We'll see him hopefully next time out. We won't be seeing Willem Westerhoff, Zvonimir Burek and Hero Calleja at least for this round, and maybe a few more as well. Samuel Newhouse has joined us from split number 2. We wish him the best of luck, although I'm looking up and down the order, and I think he could be down in P21. His name's just inverted there, so we'll hope that he can do a good job, and great to see him being moved up early in this season. Callum Wilson is going again through the final couple of corners. He's flicking his Honda through, and it's just about sticking with him as he runs up to the line. 1:07.8 still the target time. What will it be for him? This looks close. It's a 1:08.0, and he is going to improve, I think, by the slightest of margins, but it's not going to be enough. He will stay in P4, and it's still Ollie Kayanlati who is in the top 3. Stu Neal will see himself come around the final few corners now, and we'll see what the number 4 can do from P9, although looks like he's a little bit down on that lap time coming through the middle sector. Lap time still improving at the front as well. We could see that pole time come down just a touch. Towards the line. Can he get himself onto the front 4 rows at least? Doesn't he very much at all? Alan Axon's right there. I don't think he was able to get the lap time. Note actually on the gap. Not row number 3, Shuri and Paprinopoulos in 6th and 7th. There's 1,000th between those two. And for Axon and Neil in 8th and 9th, there's, I believe that's only 7,000ths between those two. So really, really close times. Exactly what we want to see. And I think the same time exactly from Osborne and Temenga. Mitchell, he's been going quickly. Can he improve? No. And the timer is now ticking away to 0. Drivers, I don't think are going to be able to make any more improvements from here. But we do see Alan Axon improving. So a couple of drivers yet to cross the line, but they have to get it done now. And Luke Mitchell is one of those drivers. Here is Alan Axon. Quite a good week for him last week. Got a P7 in the opening race. Got him a good starting position for race 2 and was able to get himself onto the podium to put himself in P6 in the championship and only 8 points off our championship leader, Gaspar Morak. As he comes through this final sector now, we'll see what he can do in terms of making any kind of imprint on the drivers in front of him. Let's see, up towards the line he will come. Through the final couple of corners. And what's it going to be for Alan Axon? Can he improve? He has improved. I think, has he gone to P6? I think I saw somebody move on the timing page there. May have just been my eyes. And actually, I think he has said exactly where he was. Morak and Mitchell are still where they are as well. They're into the pit lane. And I think that'll be all she wrote for qualifying then here at Donington Park. As the timer has expired, we can bring you those classified qualifying results, and it will be Gaspar Morak on pole position. That's 2 for 2 for him in terms of poles, and he will find himself a little bit further ahead in the championship. Make that 3 points ahead of Tom Hackett. Luke Mitchell will start P2 ahead of Ollie Kayanlati. The race 2 winner from the Imola will start 3rd. Callum Wilson, Tom Hackett 4th and 5th. Hackett will see what he can do from there. Of course, 2nd in the standings. It's Rob Shorey and Antonis Paprinopoulos in 6th and 7th. Alan Axon, Stu Neal and Simon Tribeck, those drivers in the top 10, and time's relatively close with only half a second splitting all of them. Temenga and Osborne following in on that theme as the 2 unlimited esports drivers will find themselves split by barely anything, 14 thousandths, as they are on row number 6. Raider Uhilal's the only other driver inside a second of the pole time, but he'll be alongside Jamie Potts on row number 7. Emmanuel Lopez and John Pounder on row 8 with Yaroslav Fides and Sam Butters making up row 9. Jason Taylor, David Zoes, they're on row number 10. We only have a couple more drivers to go. David Zoes rounding out the top 20 in his first race of the season with Samuel Newhouse, Paul Amos and George Prieto are 23 drivers that will take the grid here in Donington. Don't forget, reverse grid will come into effect after race 1. That could be from anything of the top 6 being reversed to the top 12 being reversed. The drivers don't know it yet. I don't know it yet. Rich doesn't know it yet. He'll let me know towards the end of the race what the magic wheel says of how many drivers will be reversed in their grid spots for race number 2. We're getting into the warm-up now, so drivers going to have a little bit of opportunity to get a bit of a feel for the circuit with maybe some higher fuel loads in the car, but I'm sure they will have done a nice bit of practice. A couple of practice starts as well ongoing for these drivers as they will look to get off the line in the best way possible. Of course, there will be formation laps in this race. I was notified about that pre-race last week and forgot, and I'm going to tell myself now so that I don't forget and make another fool of myself tonight. This circuit though at Donington, of course, those of you in the UK will know that it is, near Northampton, Nottingham, what am I on about? Nottingham and Derby, near the East Midlands Airport. You often see some planes going over if you attend a race weekend here at Donington. And quite nicely placed, actually, in terms of being able to get to. You can use the A55 from Stoke, but anyway, I'm getting too nitty-gritty here. It's a good circuit for racing. We see it a lot on domestic calendars in the UK, but we also see it on some international calendars. I'm thinking GT World Challenge has gone here of late, but it does work so well. These touring cars on rFactor 2, beautifully designed, and we will see how our drivers can run their way through this evening. For those of you new to the series, welcome along. Glad to have you with us. Delighted that you can join us this evening at Donington Park. A couple of things to let you in on. Point system in this race. It's the classic touring car point system. 20 points for the winner, 17 for second and 15 for third. We run down with 13 and 11 for fourth and fifth, and then count 1 point down for every position until you get to 1 point for 15th place. Fastest lap gets a point as well. Pole has already been dished out. Gasper Marak. And we'll see who can pick up those latter points, as they will be hard fought. 23 cars on the grid, 8 drivers that start this race won't leave the opening round with any points to their name. So it's going to be important to get some points on the board. We got some Andre supporting Jason Taylor in the chat. Lovely to see. Jason is thankful for the support, I'm sure, but he even validated every lap in the chicane, and that is an easy thing to do. Cluttered Desk saying best track in the UK, and you might be saying that as it's my home track. Yeah, I can see how you'd be biased. I always give a good word in for Snetterton, as that is myself and Zach Sweeney's home track. Zach Sweeney, your Sunday night man on the mic. I take you through the Super Touring Championship. We've met up a couple of times at Snetterton, actually, but it's horrible, Snetterton, on a hot day, because there's nowhere to hide from the shade. A little bit like Donington here, but at least there's a little bit of foliage around to keep you sheltered from the sun. Coming into this race, then, I think we're looking into the championship, and we're looking at who can really gain here. Ollie Kayanlati looking to gain back on Tom Hackett could be important, as Hackett starts 5th. Luke Mitchell starting P2 could have a good launch, as he is P4 in the championship. But really, the top 4 in the championship, all starting inside the top 5, is going to be a very interesting factor. Callum Wilson, the other driver inside the top 5, starting grid here. We'll see what he can do in this race 1. Look at that. Fancy little graphics as we came to the opening race. So came back from the spreadsheet and saw that. I thought I'd done something wrong, but no. It's Rich's wonderful graphics that he has. We're getting ready to grid up, and then we'll have the formation lap. But as I was saying, Callum Wilson, a little bit further back than he would want to be in the championship. Got some points deductions from the opening round in Imola last week, and kind of nullified the 7 points that he picked up for P9 in race number 2. A very good recovery in race 2, mind you, after starting right at the back of the field. We'll see what he can do, though, from an elevated starting position. He'll be looking to at least get himself inside the top 10 in the Drivers' Championships by the close of play. And to be fair, you'd be hard-pressed to deny him of that. Andre and Jason having a lovely little chat in there. Stu is also giving Jason a bit of support. And yeah, infield view from Hollywood Road to McLean's, about half the track overlooking the Old Heaven. Yeah, it's a great circuit, and one I do very much enjoy. As we get ourselves onto this formation lap. I do know that I believe the official commentary box, Donington Park, that at least I know of, and I think Zach Sweeney's used before, will be at the end of the opening straight on the left-hand side of the driver's seat, overlooking turn 1. So I'll imagine that I'm sitting there right now. All the cars are going out of my view as Gasper Marak leads us away down the hill as he comes through this mid part of the lap, which is just a group of S's, Craner's Curves, the Old Hairpin, Starkey's Bridge, up to McLean's and Coppice as well. Really from turn 1 all the way through turn 8. It is just a collection of S-bends, if we're being honest with ourselves. It means that drivers really have to be on it, difficult to make moves, and your best chance is likely to be down at turns 9 and 10 at the final chicane. Only 10 corners, of course, as we go through the grid. Top 4 we talked about, and the top 8 as well. I was looking at the track map. Studio and Simon Chebet come through. Anton Temenga and Jordan Osborne are 11th and 12th. As we run on to the rest of the grid. Raider Uhalal and Jamie Potts row 7, Emmanuel Lopez and John Pound on row 8. We'll see what John Pound can do in the number 65 if he can get himself just inside the points. He's on the outside looking in. He's joined in that regard by Jaroslav Fides in what I believe is, he needs some points on the board. He'll try and go from 17th. Sam Butters 18th. Jason Taylor getting us board in the chat, and David Zerwes in his opening race of the season down in P20. Samuel Newhousen, his first race on this in this split, his 21st. Paul Amos is 22nd, and George Prieto rounding out the grid in 23rd. I apologise, I was trying to look at the track map. I nearly forgot about the grid. We just about got the back end of it, so we're all nice and sorted, and the drivers are emerging back onto the start-finish straight, getting themselves into position for the start of this race. Very, very aggressive line being thrown by Gasper Marac as we see him pointing his car aggressively towards our P2 man, Luke Mitchell, as they will run up towards turn 1. But he's going to get the launch here in the opening round at Donny. Here we go then, 25 minutes are on the clock as we're about to get racing. Gasper Marac, I think he may have jumped the start there. He's not moving at all. Gasper Marac, disaster for him. Is he serving some kind of penalty? He's not moved at all. Drivers having to go all around him. Luke Mitchell, though, getting the best of launches. It's Ollie Lati fighting with Callum Wilson down towards the opening turn. It's Tom Hackett and Paparanopoulos fighting over P4 and 5 after a good start from Paparanopoulos as they run through the opening turn. Disaster for Gasper Marac. He's down already to P14. Just did not get off the line. I do believe he jumped the start. I saw some movement before the lights went out. Ollie Lati defending hard as they make their way down through the middle sector for the opening time in this race, and he will defend his P2 as the rest of the drivers try and single file their way out as we get up towards this tricky little part of the track at Starkey's Bridge and up towards McLean's. They'll dive their way through this right-hander and get towards Coppice with Luke Mitchell taking the lead, and Gasper Marac nowhere to be found. He is plummeted down the order, and this is disaster for the championship leader in the early stages. Engines roaring as we make our way back towards the start-finish straight, and we'll make our way towards the final chicane for the opening time in this race. Short lap time here at Donington Park. We will see at least 20 laps in each race, I do believe. So that is something that the drivers are going to have to be thinking of. Lots of opportunities at these corners to make the moves. They don't necessarily have to go too aggressive too early on. Antonis Paparanopoulos may be looking for a move. And the number 11 sitting in behind. Orion Sim Racing Team will be hoping that he can find his way up the order, but he's had a good start, up 2 off of his starting position, and really benefiting from the likes of Shuri and Gasper Marac having a poor start. Contact in the background, I think that's Remy Halal. You can see him off the road in the background. He's at the back of the field now. And for Remy, this is not what he would want to see at all as we run our way through now. The middle sector once again. Laps are going to keep coming fast at this circuit. We're already back at McLean's. We're already going to be going back to Coppice as these drivers are going to have to be assaulted by these curves. Cluster Desk saying Ollie needs to bring it home for Craven and not to crash my design. See what Ollie can do for P2. Callum Wilson all over the back of him, climbing on the rear end of that Honda as the two Hondas will battle it out on their way towards the final chicane. George Prieto started P23 and last in this race. He's looking to gain up another couple of spots. He's up 4 for the time being. I wouldn't mind getting past John Pound, who's had a difficult start to begin this race. Back up to Paparanopoulos we go, and Callum Wilson for P3. These couple of clumps of cars, the battle for P2, the battle for P4 is immediately where we're looking at. They are, Kayalati and Hackett in P2 and 4 being gapped a little bit in front of them, and they have got pressure immediately on their rear, and they're going to have to be careful as we see Callum Wilson pressuring Kayalati all the way through this middle sector. This is big for the championship, though. The fact that Gasper Marac has gone to the back of the field, he's going to have to be hoping at the moment that the reverse grid goes down as far as it can, because otherwise he's going to be in a world of pain if he can't get towards the front on the reverse grid. As it stands, he will drop behind Tom Hackett, Ollie Lati and Luke Mitchell in the championship standings. I even think Anton Temenga might be right on the back of him as well. So these are big moments in the early stages of this season. Tom Hackett won't have the championship lead. It will be Luke Mitchell from Lati and Tom Hackett, who'll be tied on points, and it won't be a lot to split them. So it's already looking like it's a good little race in terms of an early championship battle here in the T6 TC Championship. And great to see so many guys here this evening to really provide us with as much racing action as we can pack in. Simon Tribeck, not having the best of races last week. Was I believe suspended from race 1 if I read the Had the result sheet correctly, but either way got -2 points in race 2, so he's trying to recover from a negative for the time being, and he will surely cross the 0 mark if he's to stay up inside the top 7. But for Ollie Kajolahti getting passed by Callum Wilson, it's not what he wants at all. Wilson was going to try and get after Mitchell, and after that move has been made, Kajolahti all of a sudden is not tied with Tom Hackett. Will have to gain a couple more points to get himself there. Still ahead, though. Luke Mitchell, though, doing a very good job. And we'll have to see what Callum Wilson can do to try and get some more points for his team, which is himself and Callum Cripps. No, Cripps, actually. Not on the timing tower. I'm just going to double check to make sure that I'm not going crazy and that I have seen his name so far this evening. I may not have done, I may be going crazy. But there were 23 cars on the grid and only 22, so someone may have disconnected here. But I don't believe Callum Cripps is here tonight. I will try and work out who that missing driver is. And yes, Rich confirming to me about the suspension there it was then for Simon Trebek in race 1 last week. I will work out who that other driver is, but you'll have to give me a moment as I try and compare the grid and the current racing order. Hackett, though, will run with these guys. They're single filing their way out for the time being. They're nice and compact, and not letting each other get away too much, but they're also being quite conservative as we run down towards turn 1 once again. And looking up and down, I have worked out now the driver we are missing from the order that maybe wasn't able to get himself into the session was Yaroslav Fides, and as I've worked that out, Rich has also just confirmed that to me. So Yaroslav Fides not getting onto the grid. Unfortunate for him, but at least we got to the bottom of that one. Here we go then, racing action on lap number 7. This is Jason Taylor getting some screen time, and for good reason. There's some side-by-side battling as we work our way towards the final few corners of the lap. There's a big gap up ahead of these guys, but they are 2 by 1 by 2. There's a bit of contact. Jason Taylor, that's not him off into the barrier, I do hope, but there's 2 of them off. There's a big slide just in front of Jason Taylor. That is Potts going nearly around. You can see those 2 cars stricken in the background. I think one of them could be the Pound down there. As Halal will come through. It's Samuel Newhouse and John Pound, who are both off the road, and that is not what you want to see. Battling now up in front for P number 4, Paparinopoulos, and Tom Hackett fighting it out. Paparinopoulos not having the best of starts to race number 2 last week, trying to recover the points that he lost there, trying to get past our provisional championship, well, not championship leader, our championship contender, as we work our way through the opening couple of corners. But big incident in the background. There is a yellow flag out. I think we've got away without any kind of safety car. The yellow flag has cleared, but gutting for Samuel Newhouse. He's back in the pit lane. John Pound is still limping around at the back as well. They're going to have a tough race to start race number 2 from P21 and P22. Yellow flag out once again. That's Remy Halal. You can see it on the track map, going very slowly right at the top of the track map there. And that'll be him going around somewhere. Somewhat fortunate for Remy, himself having a difficult start to the season. 0 points in the opening raid. It's not Remy, it's Raider Halal. 18th and 20th opening 2 races. Here's the battle for P4. Antonis Paparinopoulos actually having to defend at the moment because Alan Axon is trying to trip his way around the outside. He's got Simon Trebek behind him looking for the move as well, and I actually think Trebek's made it work for him. Yes, he has, inside line, working a treat for Simon Trebek, taking advantage of Alan Axon's adventurous line and his prospects to overtake Paparinopoulos. And in the end, Simon Trebek has benefited greatly, and he finds himself up inside the top 6. Don't count Scunia either. He's right in this battle. As further back, Gasper Marak fights away with Lopez. He should get the run out of this corner. Indeed, he does. And as they make their way through the Starkeys Bridge section at 5 and 6, Gasper Marak up into P12. And he is within range now of the reverse grid, and that is going to be critical. Problem for Gasper Marak, though, 4.4 seconds up to the next car. He's really going to have to hope that Richie's wheel is going to come up quits for him, or come up trumps, I should say. Here we go then, side by side between Anton Temenga and this is Rob Shorey up towards turn 1. This is the battle for P number 9, and as Temenga tries to go around the outside, breaks later than Shorey, commits more than Shorey, takes P9 from Shorey as they get their way down through the opening turn, and will get themselves up towards turn 2 and turn 3, down at Craner's curves, and up to the old hairpin as well, dipping away through. That's where we're seeing a lot of the dust being kicked up as drivers try and take as much of an inside line as they can. But Anton Temenga now, up inside the top 9. Podium sitter from last week, of course. We had 6 different podium sitters last week, and they are the top 6 in the championship coming into this week. Mrak, Hackett, Kyan, Larty, Mitchell, Temenga, and Axon. As it stands, we'll be adding a 7th with Callum Wilson. Mitchell and Kyan Larty would make themselves 2 times podium sitters in this one. Both of them getting up a first and a third as it stands. Minutes have ticked away then here at Donington Park. We have completed near enough 10 laps. We are on to lap 10 now. Good lead has been built by Mitchell and Wilson, although Mitchell has not been allowed to get away from Callum Wilson at all. Kyan Larty in a bit of a race of his own at the moment. Got about 1 second back to Tom Hackett, but 2.7 up between himself and Callum Wilson. Oh my word, that's Papranopoulos going off the circuit. Big bumping through the grass. He's lost a position to Tribeck. Here comes Alan Axon as well. They're going to go side by side. Axon's got that one done. And Papranopoulos down to P7, bouncing his way over the grass. That is not the correct racing line. Oh, as wide goes Jason Taylor. And I don't know where he's gone. But I think he's been reading The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe this evening, because he has gone all the way to Narnia. And he is down into P17 now. Papranopoulos, though, one of the other drivers going off. Clearly not the best of times at the end of lap 10 there for a lot of these guys. Bit of struggle street as well. They'll dip their way, though, through this opening sector. As Papranopoulos looking to gain those positions back. We'll flick up to Callum Wilson, and you can really see that camera angle actually helped us appreciate the gap between those guys fighting, you know, in P7, P8, and the gap to the leaders. It isn't huge. You can see on the track map that we've got the top 10, that is, or even top 11 and 12, Gasper Mrak attached to the back of that group, before that big gap back to Potts, 9 seconds behind at the moment. But from Mrak needs to get himself as high up as he can, not just for the points, but just to try and get himself into the reverse grid. Does not want to find himself starting behind drivers that have leapfrogged him quite comprehensively in the Drivers' Championship coming through this race. Temenga fighting his way through with Shorey and with Osborne. The Unlimited Esports duo looking to get themselves both inside the top 10. As they work their way towards turn 1. More than halfway through this opening race already. They do tick by fast in this T6TC series. Alan Axon tries to tick his way past Simon Tribeck, the number 11, doing his best. And as this gaggle of cars, we've seen them battling all the way through the race. They have been close together. They've been tripping each other a couple of times as well. This could be an area of hot battling towards the end of this race, where we will shortly see less than 10 minutes on the clock. When they cross the line the next time, we will be under 10 minutes in this race. And then time's going to be of the essence for these guys to make the move. Across the line, though, we go with 11 minutes left, and leading this group, it is Ollie Kyan Larty. looking to try and hold off the rest for another podium. Luke Mitchell's win and fastest lap point would take him well clear of the rest of the field right now. He's going to be looking to hold on to that. Of that, I have absolutely no doubt. Alan Wilson, though, would be delighted with the P2, I'm sure, after a difficult week last time. He will be in P2, well, he'll be starting from wherever, once we find out the reverse grid, but he'll be starting right ahead of Luke Mitchell, regardless of how many we go down. Simon Trebek as well, another driver who'll be happy to be in the reverse grid after his struggles in the opening round. He's currently getting himself over that 0-point threshold with the points deduction from last week. And they're looking towards the back end of the top 10. Axon, Paprinopoulos, and Scream Neal will all be pleased to pick up some decent points. Not the top points, but still enough, as Tamenga still tails Rob Shorey inside the top 10. Tamenga, another one of those drivers who got the podium last week, will be hoping for a little bit more than this to try and keep himself in the championship hunt. But for Gasparak to get back inside the top 11, this could be really, really important. We will continue on. Osborne, of course, will pick up a few points for his P12, as points do go down to P15, and he will go back across the 0-point mark, as he got a few points deductions. Potts, Butters, and Zervez as well. Zervez getting his first point, as it stands, of the season. As it stands right now, Mitchell has the championship lead going into race 2. Hackett and Kayan Lati second and third. Morak demoted to fourth, but he's looking to gain as many points back as he can, and we'll await to see if he can start in the reverse grid or whether he's going to be stranded and just looking to overtake his rivals on the circuit without having that added bonus of starting at the front. Eight minutes, 22 seconds left in this one then. Tom Hackett is on the back of Ollie Kayanlati. He would absolutely love to get through for P3 here. It would be a swing between himself and Kayanlati. Currently, as it stands, Mitchell has a 4-point lead in the championship with the fastest lap that he will be awarded as well. Getting past would make it a 2-point gap. I mean, Ollie Kayanlati is then a further 2 points behind him. So, big in the early stage of the championship. Of course, a long way to go. We've got 16 rounds of racing, but we'll be a quarter of the way through that by the end of tonight. So, points really are being importantly won by these drivers, and they know they can't really afford too many slip-ups, as there won't be too much time to recover those points throughout the rest of the season. Nice looking calendar as well for us here in this championship. Really looking forward to a couple of the rounds, particularly the Sachsenring Ring, or the Saxons Ring, sorry. Istanbul Park's going to be a great one as well. Really are lucky with the calendar that we've got. Rich has worked his magic on that one. Zervez and Butters have been fighting it out. Zervez is now ahead of Butters. But they're going to come down in towards turn 1, and David Zervez looking to try and defend his position because Butters is coming back up the inside, and Sam Butters retaking that spot. Is he going to get P13 as well, actually? Is he going to make it 2 from 2? He is, you know, a little bit of door banging as they make their way through the corner, but Butters goes from 15th to 13th in the space of one corner. Potts has no reply. It's a great little game there for Sam Butters, who will say thank you very, very much to the rest, and will get himself up into P13 then. 6 minutes 35 on the clock. Our leaders will cross the line just about now. I do believe we are going to have 6 more laps here. We are lapping at under 1 minute 6, over 1 minute 6 a lap, I should say. Not by much, but just a little bit. And that should mean that we only have 6 more to go in this race. Your live point standings as well. we would be seeing a nice little improvement in the championship from Callum Wilson, as you'd expect. Comes into this race with only 2 points after his deduction last week. As it stands, he's moving up to 19. And immediately into 9th in the championship. So really, really good moves from him. Alan Axon kicking up consistent points as well. He'll only be 4 behind Gasper Marak at the moment. But Marak still looking for additional positions. Tamenga looking for Rob Shorey. Rob Shorey not having the best of runs. Anton Tamenga. And this might be easier than he was first expecting. Inside line is going to have into the final chicane. Tamenga into P9. Shorey has no reply. And Gasper Marak might have something to say. As he will try the up and under through the final corner. Rob Shorey was P9. He's going to be P11 as he gets towards turn 1. And they even may have to be careful of Jason Osborne in behind. He might even drop to P12. Osborne to the inside. Throwing a move. Not going to work out for him. And they will run through, but Tamenga picking up yet another position. Another position for Gasper Marak as well. Sadly, it's going to be a couple of points lost there for Rob Shorey. For the time being. Marak, though, inside the top 10. I still await what the reverse grid is going to be. We'll let you know as soon as I know it. Jordan Osborne now getting through on Rob Shorey. And Osborne now, he'll get himself back over the 0 points mark after he comes into this race -1 with some deductions from last week. Four minutes 12 to go. We do have 4 laps left in this race. David Zervez fighting it out with Potts as we work our way in towards turn 8 at Coppice. Little bit of rear. Let me think about this. Rear right to front left. I think that was. As I picture it in my head. Means that Zervez is in front. And he's back ahead of Jamie Potts for the time being. Potts surely not going to let this one go, though. And is going to keep a very close eye and watchful eye on this battle. Tom Hackett as well is so close to the back of Ollie Kyan-Larty. You can see him. Look at this. Oh my word. Oh no. Ollie Kyan-Larty's off the road. Tom Hackett's off the road. There was definite contact from the rear. Walking through is Alan Axon. Walking through is Simon Tribeck, who's up to P4. And what on earth happened there? Ollie Kyan-Larty is not going to be a happy man at all. He is down right towards the back of the top 15. He'll be P12. Big gap back to Butters. But Kyan-Larty, disaster for him. Definite contact from behind. Difficult to really say as we joined it late, but it has really hurt both Tom Hackett and Ollie Kyan-Larty. As now we've got George Prieto and David Zervez fighting over. Sorry, it's not George Prieto. It is George Prieto and David Zervez fighting for P. Oh, no, it's Potts and Prieto. What am I talking about? Potts and Prieto fighting for P15. Prieto doing the up and under as Hackett is now fighting with Simon Tribeck. He's all going off. Hackett back inside the top 4, but drama towards the end of this race. Tom Hackett involved in an incident, and it's going to allow Alan Axon to likely pick up a second podium of the season. My word. Simon Tribeck's going to be happy to pick up the extra points as well. Anton Tamenga looking for moves. Paparanopoulos moving on up, along with the likes of Stu Neal as well. Gasper Marak now up into P8. As he actually, I think, got past Tamenga in 9th, of course, as we've just seen. So Tamenga didn't really gain in all of that. Then you've got Osborne, who's still back in 10th. He's gained that place eventually with Kyan-Larty going around. But then we see this battle with Tamenga ongoing. Kyan-Larty is behind Shorey. It means that Shorey's got another point as well. Kyan-Larty, though. Oh, not looking pretty. Down massively with the championship. We'll ask now. I wonder if Rich can tell me where we will have the reverse grid going back to in this evening's event. Gasper Marak very likely to be in it. We had the top 11 last week. How far back will it go this week? Let's see. As Tamenga continues to fight it out. massive moments of the championship there. In all of that, Gaston Marak's back up to P3, and he's only back into P2 with the points that he's gaining back on the rest. Drumroll, please, everybody. I can tell you that I've got word back from Rich Weatherall on the reverse grid. It's the top 7. The top 7 only are going to be reversed, and we're about to start the final lap of the race here. So for Gasper Marak, he needs to get past Stu Neal, otherwise it'll be Stu Neal starting on reverse grid pole. It's not good for Temenga, for Osborne, for Shuri, or for Kai and Lati, who were all hoping that they'd be involved in it as well. But this is great news for Stu Neal, absolutely stupendous news for him. As he will start from pole as it stands. White flag would be waving if we had, a Barney, the iRacing flag man, here with us. But this has been a really, really big race in the championship, in the big picture. Luke Mitchell, though, has dominated. He took the lead after Gas Marak's non-start, really. Maybe he jumped the start. We'll have to look back at that one, but he definitely didn't gain an advantage. That's for sure. Luke Mitchell took full advantage. And even with a little bit of fighting with Callum Wilson, who has been resurgent in this race after a poor round at Imola, it's going to be Luke Mitchell who comes around the final couple of corners. The number 21 car, he's independent in team name and in this race, out in front on his own through the final corner. Luke Mitchell, your winner here for the first race here at Donington Park, and he takes the championship lead with it. Callum Wilson with his first podium of the season, he takes home P2, and he will march his way towards the top 10 in the championship. Alan Axon will pick up the final place on the podium, and that's 2 P3s in 2 for the number 11 driver, who is happy as he flashes the lights. Tom Hackett, after his contact before, and Simon Tribeck will round out the top 5. It's Paparanopoulos, Stu Neal, and Stu Neal who are rounding out the reverse grid. They're 6th and 7th. Gasper Marak got pole position. He picks up a point for that. Won't be in the reverse grid. Will start P8. A little bit of battling into the final couple of corners. Oh my word, Sam Butters. And this is, I think, David Zerwes fighting over P13. David Zerwes is off the road. David Zerwes, I think, has kept the position. And they have crossed the line, so he will stay where he is. But my oh my, what a close finish to that race between those two, getting all feisty for just some of the minor points-paying positions. It was Shuri, it was Kai and Lati, who was John Pound goes around, and then it was Zerwes, Butters, and Prieto. Zerwes actually getting past Butters in the closing stages of that race. It's a race that we thank and we say goodbye to. Luke Mitchell, though, is our winner after 22 laps here in Donington Park. He'll start P7 after the reverse grid. Callum Wilson P2 and Alan Axon starts P3. It's Hackett 4th and Tribeck in 5th after their good results, but Hackett's little bit of contact won't have pleased him too much. Antonis Paparanopoulos improved to 6th with the contact ahead of him. Stu Neal is on reverse grid pole. He starts 7th. Gaston Marak started on pole for this race, but a really, really bad start cost him loads of time, and the reverse grid only going to 7 is going to mean that he will start exactly where he finished. P8 for him. Anton Temenga and Jordan Osborne will start 9th and 10th after they finish there. Both unlimited esports drivers inside the top 10. Rob Shorey and Ollie Kai and Lati are 11th and 12th ahead of David Zerwes and Sam Butters. George Prieto is our final points paying position at the end of this race. And we've got Jamie Potts, and we've got Raider Hilal, but we've also got Jason Taylor, Paul Amos, and John Pound. They're outside the top 20. No points, though, for them. Emmanuel Lopez and Samuel Newhouse, P21 and P22. They go along with our non-starter in this race, who wasn't able to get us going, and that, of course, was Yaroslav Fides. We may be able to see him in race 2. We'll wait and see. Regardless, don't go too far. We are going to take a very short break before we get back to race 2. We're going to get a word from our sponsors, but then a really exciting 25-minute race back here at Donington in a couple of minutes' time. See you then. Welcome back then, all you wonderful T6 viewers to Donington Park. It's going to be time for race 2 pretty shortly here in the T6 TC Championship. Glad that you've all stuck around. And of course, as I saw in the YouTube chat before, thank you for the likes on the video as well. They are much appreciated. We're ready to get going for race 2 pretty shortly. 25 minutes of racing once again. Whilst we were away, I've worked my, as anybody who knows me would expect, I was doing a spreadsheet. And I was trying to work out the points provisionally after that race. And what I found was Luke Mitchell having a lead of 4 points to Tom Hackett. Gasper Maracas on 41. And Alan Axon is the only other driver within 10 points of our championship leader. Going to be an interesting one, to say the least, especially with Alan Axon starting in a good position. It's going to be, out of those 4, though, the starting order is going to be Hackett leading Axon, Mitchell, and then Mrak. But we'll come up to that in just a minute when we get the grid up, and I'm going to promise I'm not going to miss it this time by looking at the track. But they will make their way onto their formation lap then, as we do see Stu Neal lead us, I do believe, through this formation lap. Mind you, something I hadn't realised before the end of that race, Stu Neal got reverse grid pole last week. And so's 2 in 2 for reverse grid poles. I think Rich may have his number on speed dial. And we'll get a call about halfway through race 1 to find out where he is in order to get the reverse grid pole for you. I'm not too sure if the grid is working, but I will be able to run you through it based off of what I can read from last race's results. It does mean that Stu Neal is on pole. Antonis Paparanopoulos will start alongside him on row 2. Then we go to Simon Tribeck and Tom Hackett, who are on row 2, I should say, and they will be 3rd and 4th. 5th and 6th should be Alan Axon and Callum Wilson after their podiums in race 1. 7th will be Luke Mitchell. The championship leader will be alongside the championship leader coming into this race, Gasper Marak, who will start from P8. 9th and 10th does go, however, to Anton Semenga and to Jordan Osborne. Rob Shorey will start 11th with Oli Kayanlati in 12th. David Zerves, Sam Butters and George Prieto inside the top 15. Jamie Potts rounds out row number 8. Row 9 is Raider Uhelal and Jason Taylor as their 17th and 18th, with Paul Amos and John Pound on row 10. Then, of course, we are backed up on the grid by Emmanuel Lopez and Samuel Newhouse, who round out the 22 drivers who should be making their way to the grid. We don't have... Oh, there you go. You can see it on the left-hand side. I think I got it right. I hope I did indeed. 25 minutes on the clock. Don't worry. None of that 57 minutes on the tower. 25 minutes is what we're going to have as we're ready to go racing. The 5 red lights are on here at Donington Park for race number 2. And we're racing once again. What a start in the background. Surely that is the best launch of the evening. That's Alan Axon already up into the top 3 after starting P5. He's up into P2, looking for the lead to the inside. Not quite going to be able to do it, as Paparanopoulos will try and fend him off as they make their way through the opening corner. Paparanopoulos having a bit of a slide, though, as they get their way through the opening turn. And Alan Axon, what a start from him. Immediately up to 2nd. He's going to be chasing after Stu Neal for 1st. And exactly what he needed to have as he gets off the line. Fighting him behind, though, this is between Tom Hackett and Luke Mitchell as we work our way through the opening lap. There's a crash in the background. It's Yaroslav Fides, is it? It's Sam Butters off as well. They have had awful starts to this race. A couple of incidents further back as well. You can see on the track map a couple of drivers disconnected from the back of the field. And really, it's the top 13 that have been able to get away in the early stages here. Through we come, turn number 8. Stu Neal is away. What a start it is for Alan Axon. Disastrous start for Jason Taylor, who's towed himself back to the pit lane, and Yaroslav Fides as well, who is all the way down at the back of the field. Off the corner there was Alan Axon. Oh dear, Alan Axon very slow off of the corner into the pit lane. Oh, he must have got a jump start. That's why it was such a good launch. Alan Axon coming down pit road. Oh, and that's absolutely disastrous for him. The number 30, the driver in the, well, I was going to say in 13th, he's dropping down the order. That is awful for him. He was in such a good position. Now it's down to the likes of Paparanopoulos and Wilson to fight it out, as they've got Tom Hackett involved in this as well. They're fighting their way through this middle sector side by side. A little bit wide though from Tribec, as this will be Paparanopoulos' chance, hitting into the rear as Callum Wilson is there 2x2 as they run their way through this middle sector. And Luke Mitchell's looking around in this as well, as Tom Hackett looks to gain a place, but they come up towards turn 7, they come up towards turn 8, locked side by side between Hackett and Wilson. And they're still side by side between Paparanopoulos and Tribec for P2. All of this allowing Stu Neal to scarper away at the front. He's got 3 seconds in the lead, and we've not even completed 2 laps in this race. Almost like Noah's Ark as they make their way in towards the final couple of corners. But Tribec will control his line, control his position, and we will get through the end of lap 2, single file off the corner, with a host of drivers jostling for positions inside this top 10. Emerging from the pit lane, looks like Pound or Taylor, keeping off the racing line as all of the leaders fly through the background as well. This is Gasper Marat getting involved with Mitchell and Wilson, but he's got to be careful because Temenga and Osborne are on his tail as well. Incredibly hectic and frantic start to this race. Hackett is fighting with Paparanopoulos. Let's have a look at that one as they come down in towards turn number 4. Nearly big contact between those two, but Paparanopoulos keeps it all together, keeps it on the circuit, and keeps himself to the inside of Hackett. Will have to back out. Tom Hackett up to P3. Mayamo will start. Paparanopoulos back up the inside. They're not leaving each other alone as Paparanopoulos gets the position back. He's back onto the podium, and all this now is doing is letting Simon Tribec get a little bit further away after his good result in race 1 put him in great position for the reverse grid spots. This is incredible racing as they work their way through. Down towards the final game once again, we are seeing Luke Mitchell fighting away with Callum Wilson. Mitchell ahead of Wilson as he was in race number 1. Neal leading the race with the fastest lap for the time being. Sits coming into this race 10th in the championship. He'd love to gain some points in this race. Bobby Makinov would be target number 1, and he's not even here to pick up any points, so he'll be pretty easy to negotiate if Stu can get to the end. Hackett and Mitchell, though, they're going to get closer in the championship as they run next to each other. Gasparak going to fall a little bit further back. Alan Axon going to fall a lot further back as he's down in P16, not even in the points at the moment, after his drive-through penalty. Paparanopoulos will try and get himself back inside the top 6 in the championship, maybe even the top 5 with tonight's result. He wouldn't mind getting back up into P2 either. 20 minutes left on the clock. Frantic opening 5 minutes to race number 2 here. In towards turn 1 then we go. It's Luke Mitchell. It's Jordan, it's not Jordan Osborne, it's Tom Hackett fighting side by side. That's a battle going on further back. Got to be careful because Callum Wilson is sniffing around this battle. A driver that has shown this evening that he has to be reckoned with. They'll dive their way now down the hill through the Craner curves 2, 3, and now into the old hairpin at 4. But Hackett keeps his P4 for the time being. Still a very long way to go in this race. Very long way indeed. Lots can change over the next 19 minutes or so. Move in the offing, it seems, as we look at... Oh, this is getting very, very close. The number 11 of Alan Axon looking to get back through. Oh, there's a little bit of blinking going on there. As Axon is... He just lagged back. I think Alan Axon's lagged back there. He's down in P15 once again. And regardless, it is not going well for him in this one. Samuel, the driver has moved up from split 2. Samuel Newhouse having a good race here after his DNF in race 1. He's up into the points and he's looking to get himself into the positive points after his first round in the split. Potts is in the pit lane. That is not what he would want to see. Let's hope it's not a retirement for him, but I can't actually see his car moving, and I do think Potts may be out of this race. Gutting for him. With Jason Taylor out of this race, it means that he will still be on the negative points coming out here of Donington. Emmanuel Lopez hoping to change things in that regard for himself. But I can't actually see Emmanuel Lopez. Yaroslav Fides? Yes, I can. I can see Yaroslav Fides, but I can't see Lopez. So I don't think Lopez is able to get into this race, which will be disappointing for him. And he will also stay on the negative points. And towards turn one we go once again. This is the battle up for P4. This is Callum Wilson looking to make the move past Tom Hackett. Well, we see Callum Wilson in the Newcastle United shirt make great poaching goals. Well, every now and again at this point. Is he going to make a good poaching move around the outside? Going to be difficult. Inside line for the old hairpin. He's got the run. Has he got the position? Yes, he has. Trying to squeeze out Tom Hackett as well. Beautifully crafted, but it's allowed Luke Mitchell to come through as well. Mitchell 2 for the price of 1. He's got a deal on as he's up into P4. Gasper Marak taking advantage of Tom Hackett's misfortune. He's up into P6 now, and this is a battle with some championship contenders that, even though isn't going to be for the top points, could have some big championship ramifications as we get through the next month and a half in this championship. Hackett not able to make a move back past Gasper Marak, though, down in towards final chicane. And while I'm able to catch my breath, well, not able to catch my breath, it's Ollie Lati fighting away with Jordan Osborne, that is, for P10. Lati obviously looking for the podium in race 1, had the contact which really cost him big time, looking to get back inside the top 10 for the first time since that incident that happened back in race 1. He's got an outside line. Is it going to help him out at all? It wouldn't help him down towards the old hairpin, but can he get it done through 2 and 3? He's got it done in 2. He's got it done in 3, but back up the inside comes Osborne through the old hairpin. Kyan Larty goes wide. He's off the road. He's bouncing through the grass. Keeps the momentum going. Oh, he cuts the corner a touch and nearly comes back, and it's Jordan Osborne. Completely by accident, but they just about keep it out of each other. And will continue on now, but big moments there as well, as I thought Kyan Larty was going to be off the road once again. Meanwhile, little word for the guys up the front. Simon Tribeck is closing on Stu Neal. Papranopoulos is in there as well to try and gain some time and points. As it stands, the only driver inside the top 6 in the championship, inside the top 5, is the championship leader Luke Mitchell. He's doing a great job. Marak and Hackett 6th and 7th. They're going to be climbing each other for points as well. This is Paul Amos. Oh, Paul Amos fighting with Alan Axon after his drive through. Axon just trying to recover, but Amos putting up quite a fight here as they come down and make their way through 2 and 3. Back out towards the front of the field we go. This is Gasper Marak. We'll see what he can do. Let's see, down towards turn one we go. Gasper Marak got a very good run on the back of Callum Wilson. Outside line is where the round 1 winner would go. Not this evening. Round 1 overall at Imola. He got the most points. He's not going to be able to get past Callum Wilson there. Great defence being shown by the driver, looking to claw back some ground in the championship and keep him behind. The driver with the biggest target on his back this evening is going to be mission number 1. A quick note on Uhelal and Amos, who are in 14th and 15th as it stands. They're picking up their first points of the season each. So they would like to get into the positive territory after finishing outside the points in each of the opening 3 rounds so far. Jordan Osborne on the back of Ollie Kai and Lati. This is the battle for P10 as they run their way off of turn number 8 and come towards the final chicane at 9 and 10. Stu Neal has been well and truly caught by Simon Trebek, by the way. That gap is now down at 0.4 of a second. Tom Hackett is right on the back of Gaston Rack, who is trying to overtake Callum Wilson again. That is likely to be happening at turn 1. You can see side-by-side action, actually. Wilson, can he get up the inside? Oh, no, Wilson's ahead. Can Hackett get up the inside of Gaston Rack? No. But Gaston Rack feeling like he's being held up for the time being, not able to find his way through right now. And just trying everything to get himself up into P5. Callum Wilson, though, holding firm and very impressively slow. As Luke Mitchell also now has the fastest lap under his name for the time being as well. He got the fastest lap in race 1, looking for 2 out of 2 in that regard tonight, and an extra couple of points for his championship as it stands in this race, or in the championship overall. He's got a 9-point lead ahead of Tom Hackett. Hackett's in this battle with Gasper Rack, who is only 1 point behind Hackett as it stands in the championship. Callum Wilson, after his good result, he's up into P8 for the time being, looking for more though. Long way to go though, halfway through this race. Thought I'd give a quick update in that regard. We're likely to have another, what's that, as we've crossed the line once again, 11 laps to go now, I would suggest. Oh, there's another inside line being thrown by Gasper Morat. Callum Wilson saw it coming, taking a very nice wide line. He's going to get a beautiful run through the corner. And Morat has no answer as they run their way down the hill once again at 2 and 3. Neil, though, he has been caught by Simon Trebek. That gap now really down at 0.3. I think Trebek's going to be going for it soon. Keep an eye out for when that happens, but for the time being, Stu Neal controlling the lead through turn 8, which is exactly where we find Callum Wilson and Gasper Rack and Tom Hackett entering. Leaders aren't too far ahead here. You can actually see them in front of this gaggle of cars. Here they are. Neal and Trebek, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 in the background. 5, 6, and 7. 11 minutes on the clock. Who can make the moves to get themselves higher up in this race? Tom Hackett looking to try and overtake Gasper Morak, but Morak defending the inside. He's been attacking the inside, defending this time around. There, Anton Temenga getting past Rob Shorey down the inside at turn number 1. Temenga actually holding on to the position from Rob Shorey, who is looking to try and attack him. Being a very consistent driver so far this season. He got a P2 in the second race at Imola, but apart from that, a 9th, a 9th, and an 8th. He's looking for yet another 8th place as well, so keeping up that consistency. It's why he finds himself in the top 5 in the championship at the moment. Luke Mitchell, tailing the back of Paparanopoulos, wouldn't mind getting the extra 2 points to get onto the podium once again. Would be his 3rd podium in 4 races if he was to do so. Would extend his championship lead out to a provisional 12 points, with Gasmarak still stuck behind Callum Wilson. Paparanopoulos, though, keeping a tabs with Luke Mitchell, as Luke Mitchell did make his way through, as I took a sip of water there. Luke Mitchell, therefore, is now in a great position. Paparanopoulos, sadly for him, losing a couple of points, but it won't affect him terribly much for the time being. But for Luke Mitchell, this is a chance for him to try and get after the race leaders. Clearly the fastest driver in the races so far this evening. Asmarak would say otherwise, of course, after getting pole. But Luke Mitchell won race 1. He's got fastest lap at the moment and looking to try and come back and win race 2. And you'd be hard-pressed to say that he doesn't have a good chance, because Simon Trebek and Stu Neal in the championship coming into this race are, what is that, 12th? Is that hidden? It is 12th and is... actually, they're not 12th, but they're a little bit further down the order, is my point. Here is the battle between Shuri and Temenga. Let's see what these guys can do through turn 9 and 10 this time around. Is the battle open for P number 5? Gasparak around the outside. Can he make this one work? No, he can't. Here comes Tom Hackett as well. He's being opportunistic up the inside. These three Constantine up through the corner. And Gasparak has spent so long fighting to get up inside the top 5. He's now going to fight to defend his P6. A little bit of contact right through turn 2. We'll see Tom Hackett take advantage. It's Tom Hackett now, who is ahead of our championship leader coming into this race of Gasper Mrak, and Mrak's going to have to fight his way back, but he's got a little bit of time as they now run their way through this middle sector towards the end of the lap. Actually, in fact, Scunil, I've just adjusted this now, as it stands would be P4 in the championship, believe it or not, with a win if he can keep hold of it. Luke Mitchell is arriving. Luke Mitchell is in P2, and Simon Trebek has been demoted down to P3. Charge is continuing at the moment. And he is looking like he's going to be a hard man to beat this season already, as it stands 12 points of a championship advantage. Mrak is back ahead of Hackett. You can see it on the screen now. So those two swapping positions as if it's Halloween already, and they're dishing out some candy. But there's only 7 minutes left on the clock now. Running the background in terms of points, Butters has got past Amos. P15 for the time being. Keeping up Sam Butters' run of points, albeit not too many on the next to his name. He'd be a very brave man, though, to bet against Luke Mitchell in this race. We'll see them now as they come towards the final chicane. He has been on fire. One race won after taking the lead at turn 1. He's going to be in the lead on the exit of turn 9 and 10. Surely, no, he's not, actually. Defence being thrown by Stu Neal. Is it going to be enough, though, as Luke Mitchell is going to get a great run out of the corner, looking for the lead. But look at the run of Simon Trebek through towards turn number 1. Mitchell going to have to go to the outside line as Stu Neal is staunchly defending the inside line. Mitchell trying to tiptoe his way around the outside, can't quite do it there, trying to get good enough traction off the corner as well. They're going to be locked side by side in towards 2 and 3. Inside line will favour Stu Neal. Luke Mitchell's going to have to sit in behind. This fighting though, inviting Paparanopoulos up into the back as the top 4 now. Constantine are up together. Callum Wilson looking to gain with 6 minutes left on the clock as well. Five minutes 40 left on the clock. When we cross the line, there's going to be 5 laps to go. And that is all that we will have between us and the checkered flag. Luke Mitchell, look at the run through Coppice. And he is absolutely flying right now. He's past Stu Neal before we even get onto the brakes. And Luke Mitchell is a new race leader in race number 2. It's taken him 18 laps to do so. But he's found himself there. And it might go from bad to worse for Stu Neal. Here comes Simon Trebek as they work their way down in towards turn number 1. Mitchell's going to run away. Surely he can take this win. Here comes Paparanopoulos. He was 4th. He's going to the inside. There's contact. He is 2nd. What a move from Paparanopoulos. Trebek's going to have to go down to P4. But massive gains from Antonis Paparanopoulos. Puts him up into P2. What a bold, brave move from him. 5 minutes to go. Can he try and chase after the lead with Luke Mitchell? Massive moments then in this race. As we continue on, Simon Trebek all over the back of Stu Neal. Callum Wilson is involved now as well. With what's going on, I mean, if these guys can hold back the likes of Wilson and Hackett and Mrak, then Mitchell's going to have a monumental lead. But here we go, Trebek fighting with Stu Neal into the final couple of corners. Stu feeling like he needs to go defensive through here. Oh my word, the cars are fanning out across the road. Oh no, Simon Trebek in the wall. There was contact from behind. That was Callum Wilson, and he's out of control. He's out of control. He's hit Wilson again as they come towards turn 1. He had no control on the car. Drivers come through. The drivers coming through are Hackett and Marak up to P4, but Simon Trebek, there was contact from behind. Difficult to say how much he knew about it from the front on camera, but he has dropped down. Callum Wilson's dropped down as well, and Anton Temenga now fighting away with Kayan Lati for the top 9, as this race really has sparked into life with contact with only 4 minutes on the clock. All wide as well there from Kayan Lati. That is not what you want to see from him. But Marak and Hackett now inside the top 5. Trebek and Wilson for the time being having to settle for 6th and for 7th. Word, what moments in this race. How important could that be in an overall championship picture come the end of the season? We'll have to weigh it and find out. As it stands, there's a 14-point lead for Luke Mitchell, ahead of Gas Marak and Tom Hackett, with another win looking set to go his way. But for Marak and Hackett, they've got 2 cars right in front of them, and they would fancy themselves to get through. There's only 3 laps to go, though. Got to get a move on if they're going to get themselves onto the podium. Here comes Marak, inside line, podium on the line. It'll become the outside on Stu Neal, but he's got a nicer run through the corner. Can he use the exit to his advantage? Not really. Tom Hackett's going to be involved in this as well. Podium position is up for grabs. Gasper Marak gets to the inside. Oh no, Marak's turned in. Oh dear, Gasper Marak off the road. The rear wing pops off Stu Neal. He will say that he gave him room, but oh dear, Gasper Marak is off the circuit. He's back down the order, and again, critical moments in the championship that now sees Tom Hackett onto the podium. 2 laps to go. Stu Neal dropping off the podium. Not to the driver you necessarily would have expected just a moment ago. Gasper Marak is around. Gasper Marak is still inside the top 11, but he's hanging on for dear life. Rob Shaw in all that got past Temenga. He's going to be in an improved position. My oh my. Massive moments. As Gasper Marak finds himself facing the wrong way in the wall and losing quite a nice chunk of points. All of a sudden, I told you not long ago that Hackett and Marak were tied on points. That has now become a 12-point advantage for Tom Hackett, and Gasper Marak leading the championship coming into tonight. He'd be 22 points off Luke Mitchell, as we are on to the final lap of the evening here in race 2 at Donington Park. Luke Mitchell has just been an unstoppable force tonight. So impressive. We'll see him here. I mean, he's ran away from the rest of the pack after making those moves, and he's looked so calm and so collected. He got 26 points at Imola last week. He's heading for 42 out of a possible 43 here at Donington Park. He'll come through turn 8 at Coppice. He's even got a lap car in front of him that he may have to start thinking about. It'll be Prieto there, the P19 driver, who will have to wait for to cross the line. Indeed it is. But Mitchell won't care. He's coming to the final 2 corners. He didn't quite get pole, but he led race 1 from start to finish. He's led race 2 when he's been able to get to the front. It's 2 from 2. It's your new championship leader, the 21 of Luke Mitchell. Here comes Tom Hackett around the outside. He nicks P2 off of Paprinopoulos. What a move from Tom Hackett, and that's going to gain him another couple of points. P4 for Callum Wilson ahead of Stu Neal in the end. Simon Trebek will finish in 6th ahead of the rest of the top 10. What a move from Tom Hackett to close out that race. That is critical for him. What a move. And Antonis Papadopoulos, he's still going to get his first podium of the season, but he's going to feel hard done by. He thought he had that P2 wrapped up. In fact, he's only going to have to settle for P3. My, oh my, what an ending to the race. Side by side between Paul Amos and I believe this is our newer driver, Samuel Newhouse, for P16 in the end, and it will be Newhouse who wins out in that one. Oh, but my word, you're back into the top 10 in the end. It was Simon Trebek in P6. Shorey picked up 9 points in 7th. 8 points for 8th went to Anton Temenga. And then we've got Ollie Kayan-Larty and Jordan Osborne running out the top 10. My, oh my, what a race that was. Luke Mitchell, 2 from 2 tonight. Tom Hackett, an incredible move at the end of the race on the final corner to take P2. He'll be pleased with his points tally tonight, I'm sure. P3 for Antonis Papadopoulos after he just so close to a P2, but still his first podium of the season. Callum Wilson in 4th, had Stu Neal in 5th after he started on pole. Simon Trebek and Rob Shorey 6th and 7th. Temenga, Kayan-Larty and Jordan Osborne round out your top 10. It was Gaspar Marak and David Zervez, Alan Axon and Raider Uhilal inside the top 14. Uhilal's first point of the season, mind you, and we send a little bit of congratulations to him for that. But it was Sam Butters who picked up another point as he finished in 15th. Newhouse won out the battle for 16th ahead of Paul Amos. Neither of those drivers are yet to get off the mark. Yaroslav Feist was able to get into this race, but no points for him. He's 18th. George Prieto 19th, and John Pound a lap down in P20. Just a couple more drivers to go. Jamie Potts and Jason Taylor, P21 and 22. They won't find the checkered flag. But that will be all she wrote for racing action here at Donington Park this evening. Gaspar Marak will not be happy with how that race ended. There is no doubt about that. But for the rest of the drivers, I think there's going to be a lot of positives to take. There were some interesting moments throughout that race. I mean, Luke Mitchell's going to have some positives. He got 2 from 2. There was a lot of contact. Drivers picking their way through have really benefited out. But before I let you all go, I will give you a quick update on the provisional championship standings after round number 2. Luke Mitchell is your provisional championship leader, 68 points on the board for him. Tom Hackett is P2 with 60, and Gaspar Marak still in P3, but he's down on 46. Then you've got a gaggle, Alan Axel on 42, Temenga 39, Kayan-Larty 37, Papadopoulos 36, Stu Neal 34, and Callum Wilson 32. The drivers that we've seen a lot of this evening, and I think are going to be contenders over the coming few weeks. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in, though. Thanks to our sponsors who make these broadcasts possible as well. And thanks, of course, to Rich Rudwell for putting on this fantastic series. 7 days' time will be our next instalment. We'll be at Laguna Seca for round number 3. Don't forget the Super Touring Championship will be on the T6 YouTube channel on Sunday night with Zach Sweeney. You won't want to miss that either. But I will see you in 7 days' time as we head to Laguna in this really, really exciting championship in the T6 TC Championship.